So can you give us one of those examples of stands out in your mind that the premise liability case that was unusual or didn't come in as a sort of like a solid case that stands up in your mind that you litigated it and you got positive results from it that stands out. So for people to relate, like, everybody knows when you're in a shopping center,
Yeah.
you're in the Walmarts and Targets and you fall down and because they provided dangerous zones or
Right.
unsafe areas and things like that. Do you have one of those stories where you like this one stands out?
Uh, yeah, we've had many. Um, a lot of the interesting ones we have are these crossover cases. I call them workers' comp
Mm-hmm.
PI crossover
Right.
cases where the client was on the job. Usually they're contractors. They're
Right.
they're not W-2 employees of the firm or of the company that they work for, but you're performing work duties. And while they're there, there's some sort of dangerous condition caused by the construction company, somebody that's controlling the construction job. And we had one that settled just yeah in 2023 in the middle of the year for a mid seven figure case. And they were trying to argue that it was workers' comp exclusive, that the only means of recovery for the client was through the workers' comp field.
Ah,
So they brought MSJ, and of course we fought it. We prevailed, and a lot of firms may have folded
right.
or just tried to settle for a nominal amount, something like low five figures. But we, learned the law and mastered it, and got to know the exception to the workers' comp exclusivity rules. And those are the really interesting, complex cases that we're proud of, because a
Right.
lot of firms, I think, and we tried to bring in some firms to help us out because it was such a monster case.
Right.
And I'm not going to name any names, but some of you know the top two, three law firms in the state declined to take on the case.
Those are the most interesting ones
Yeah,
because I've seen a lot of cases being rejected by several reputable firms,
very. They're some of the best.
and then it goes to another firm and they have a huge win, and it's sort of like
It was a
it's
monster one, yeah.
yeah. So that's great. And for those attorneys who are listening in, um, this firm is very successful on the premise liability cases. So if they want to refer cases, I'm sure they'd be very happy to entertain a referral arrangements for those premise liability. Because I have a lot of attorneys who don't want to, they're not comfortable
Yeah,
with, they don't want to do premise liability. They
a lot
just
of fear.
started doing MVA cases and so forth. So they're always looking for a good place to refer those cases and be able to help their clients. So
Yeah.
we usually ask them to seek out those
No,
firms and refer
sure.
clients to.
Yeah. We're happy to help. We're happy just to talk, have a conversation. For those newer attorneys that um, are not comfortable doing it, you have to start somewhere. So we have a lot of smaller premise liability cases that we refer out. So they're more than welcome to reach out to us, and we're happy
And practice.
and refer those cases to them, and they can practice on those, and get better and better and work their way up to these more serious, more complex cases. But yeah, I would not start with a monster
No,
liability case. But yeah, I'm happy to mentor them, and it's my pleasure. That's how I started, so I owe it to the community to pay back. So
that's a great offer.